Yeah, let's go. New year, new me, turn it up a new degree. I'm gonna make it to the top if it's the last thing I see. Work hard every day, work hard, then we play. I'll be doing everything in my own damn way. Ain't nobody tell me shit, I'm on top of it. Writing hits that make other people feel like writing hits. We gon' get every little goal that we wanna get. Never quit, we don't even know what it means to quit. Write it down, what you want, what you need, what you see. Everything that you wanna be. Put it out in the world, that's your destiny. In your mind, what you need is to have believe. I'm gonna make it to the top, cause I never stop. My own switch doesn't have enough. I think it's broken, I think it's lost. I guess that's why I never take a loss. New year, new me, no fear, just be everything you wanna be. Write it down, what you see. Don't give up, just believe, and you will succeed. Put the hours in, and you're bound to win. New year, new me, no fear, just be everything you wanna be. Write it down, what you see. Don't give up, just believe, and you will succeed. Put the hours in, and you're bound to win. Make a deal with yourself, so you'll get after it.
Episode 3 on 4/3/24.
Yeah. Let the big dogs eat.
Missing one of the big dogs tonight.
Off having a baby today in the hospital. Congrats, Corey and Bree.
Everyone out. AB just had a baby. Congratulations to him.
Yeah.
I feel like half the HGH team is
the whole team
popping out babies now.
Colton recently, Eric and Vanessa recently. They're coming all around. Who's next?
Bunch of future HGH.
We're going to have a whole team here before long.
That's awesome.
We want to welcome you to episode 3 today. Just going to kind of talk about some things, go over some things.
Wheelhouse Hall of Fame, Major League Baseball's back.
Mojo wrap up from the men's and women's for the weekend.
Women's, that was intense.
Women's,
I saw all the photos and everything.
Women's was intense. Queen City Queens won the women's from Cumberland, or from the area here. They have a bunch of players locally. But congrats to them on that win. Some hard-fought games.
Really good games. You could see that they were posting all over social media how passionate they were.
It was intense. It was intense. A lot
photos. I know Tree took a bunch of pictures. It came out really good. I saw Chippy the other day and was like, "Let's go!" Like in the middle of Walmart. I was like, "God."
There's a lot of conflicts in that whole series there, but
really,
I'm sure there'll be a little bit of a rivalry there from there on out. With
I love
team.
it. Bring a little drama.
Yeah. Have to. I mean, that's what softball's about, anyways.
I know. Is there a pet peeve you have when it comes to softball? It's as opposed to men's, co-ed, or is it hey, there's one thing during softball that I can't stand?
I love the banner and the trash talk. I do. I love it on the field, but my pet peeve is when you don't let it on the field, when you make it personal.
Yeah.
It's okay to sit there and laugh at somebody with an error, or say stuff when a ball gets by or something. I'm all fine with that, but when you start making personal comments, there's
a fine line.
There is.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So that's just something.
And I feel you hear more of that in, not necessarily do you hear more in men's or in co-ed, more of the personal?
I think you hear more personal stuff in men's because it's men. I mean, they
more
get
calm.
there. Same thing with women. Women are going to do the same thing. But when you're in co-ed, it's kind of a little bit more chill and relaxed.
Competition does that too.
It does. And I think it's more when somebody's making mistakes and they're getting in their heads, that's the retaliation. They go to the personal level.
Yeah, exactly.
And it happens.
Well, I was surprised too. I didn't insane game with LSU and Iowa, the women's game. I thought Caitlin Clark might be letting Angel Reese have it, but good for her. I'm sure internally she was like, this is a revenge game. I know she said it wasn't, but there's no way.
I was waiting for the John Cena or the ring. I was waiting for it, but she never did.
Man.
Talk about a game, though. That was, 12.3 million viewers for that game?
This is, at least in my time of being alive, I can't tell you a time I've seen a bigger women's college basketball game.
They put up a list today of all the ratings that it beat, and it beat every single college football game on the whole year except for Ohio State, Michigan.
Dude.
It beat all the Thursday night football games. There was a list that I was like, man, that's unreal.
It was tough for me going back and forth. I know we were talking. I was like, man, baseball, college, kind of watching the StatCast, and she goes, 9 for 20 from 3? Oh, my gosh.
You know what? She had a rough spurt in the middle of that game where she was shooting every time down the court. And I was like, her passing's so good. Why do that? But it started falling in the second half, and they pulled away. So
I seen a video where they said, it's bad when the other team is doing the Jordan. Like, what do you want us to do?
Yeah, she just. I'm not sure why they put her to cover Caitlin, but they did, and
I know
she was lost out there. You could tell.
Oh my gosh, Jesse, what do you want me to do?
I think it had more of a thing. The coach did it for probably the transition.
Mm-hmm.
She figured if the other two were in transition after the misses, they would get the buckets. So they kind of strategized, but it kind of backfired for them.
I wonder how Iowa responds after this. And it's weird saying how they respond because some teams are just they're on a high.
Yeah.
And then they crash the next week or whatnot.
I'll tell you, UConn's balling right now. That's going to be a fun game.
Yeah, they had a good battle with USC.
Yeah.
It was a good game.
The matchup's going to be there. I mean, you're going to have the two girls going at it. Both are sharpshooters. We'll see what happens there.
Yeah, well, I mean, Iowa nosebleed tickets like $200. Yeah. That place was packed and rocking. Oh my gosh!
I mean, it's good. It's good for the game. I think it's bringing that excitement back to it. So,
have you ever had that with softball? You had that you had a big win, but it's kind of like a job's not finished. Then next game's like, what happened?
Yeah, I mean that's every game at the world's level. I feel like, which is kind of the big stage like they're on right now.
Yeah, you have to have that balance. Not too high, not too low, but still not like, hey, we're not going to talk.
Yeah, stay realistic with it at that time. Mm-hmm. And it's tough because you do ride high. You beat a really good team and you're pumped.
Mm-hmm.
Like that happened to us in Florida a couple years ago. We beat the number one team in the nation in the semis.
But it's hard. Like, how can you not?
Yeah.
Like,
we played the perfect game in softball, and we did. And then we turned around and played the local torqued up team in the King Seat game.
Yeah.
And the bad thing is it was back to back. We didn't have any break. So we didn't get to come down off that high, and it was a dud.
I feel like sometimes I don't know, with baseball, maybe it's like, hey, you're hitting, and then you play right after that. You're like, all right, we're already got it. Our swings are good, don't change anything. But yeah, sometimes that back to back.
Well, if you look at the percentage, like if you look at a tournament and you go to a double elimination softball tournament, and you have a team come through the losers bracket to the championship, and they have to double dip that team. Usually, I think the percentage when you win that first game of that double dip, most of the time they win that second game as well. That team in the winners bracket has to put them away when they have that chance in the first game before they get that momentum going.
Don't even give them a shot.
Yeah.
That's tough. So, Wheelhouse.
Rest
in peace.
I think everybody's sad about the Wheelhouse. I'm really going to try to find a place for us to play. It's been a good 5-6 year run in there.
Yeah, I seen Laffy made a post. He was really pleased, thank you to everyone that just helped out. And so it was a really cool video to see him just kind of tipping his cap to everybody.
Yeah, some of the memories we had in there. I mean, without it, winter would be dead around here. I mean, you don't have any ball. You can't go do anything. Yeah,
go to Morgantown to get swings.
Yeah, maybe. Get in a cage, which, I mean, you can only do so much in a cage. At least in there, you have the social network in there. You sit there and talk to everybody.
Yeah, that's what's good. You bring everybody in there. There's people that drive hours just to come hang out on a Friday night.
Come from Delaware to play. I mean, you're talking a 5-hour drive just to come play indoor ball. Like that's a 6-7 hour tournament. That's all it is.
Yeah, you're there maybe 2 a.m.
Yeah,
depending on the how long it goes.
Yeah, definitely some good times. We put up that Hall of Fame list yesterday. The people that were like shoe-ins of that Hall of Fame.
For sure.
Like Corey that's not here today, but man, he was. If you talk about the Wheelhouse and you talk about the one player that makes an impact, you're talking about Corey.
There's a handful of players that I think of. I think of him, Colt, Rickelman, Marcus Weaver.
And Marcus, the last 2 years, Marcus with all his home runs definitely made a big impact in there.
It was like every Friday night that we were there, it's like he knew the swing to have.
Yeah.
Like you have sometimes the guys catch the net. Him, Mike Clace, just that perfect.
And Chris Johnson. For some reason, those three. And what's crazy is if you look at the numbers, their OBPs aren't eye-popping. They aren't out there.
Yeah.
But they got that swing. They're hitting all those home runs. All three of them do. And it's like you want them on your team when you're in there. That's for sure.
Yeah. Wheelhouse. Yeah, that's tough.
Females, you got Hannah Bush. I mean, I know she hasn't been there the last 2 years, but if she would have, her numbers probably all at the top.
Yeah,
like
she's still going to stay consistent.
Her RBIs are up there. Her OBP was already up there. Like everything was great.
Absolutely.
Carrie only made it to a few. Her numbers were great in there. I mean, we've had some really good. Maria this year was the MVP.
Yeah.
I mean, she had a really good year in there. And I think she's grown a lot in the game because of the wheelhouse.
Oh, absolutely.
I know it doesn't seem like you're hitting a squishy ball. You're doing things you don't do outside, but you do grow in the game just from doing that kind of ball.
Absolutely. And maybe reaction time, you're out there on the field, that ball's flying.
Yeah. I mean, that's so. Yeah, you see how fast paced it is in there.
Oh my
if you
gosh.
can adapt to that fast pace and then take it with you outside, makes a big difference.
I love it. So, are you guys doing any kind of like awards for that? I know you kind of posted.
Yeah, we'll probably do. We'll probably try and come up with something for that. I usually try to do, even if it's just small.
Yeah, some fun. That'd be good for everybody.
Definitely. Colton got the MVP for the guys this year, so
yeah,
congrats
to
him.
And, deserved.
Him and Maria both had good careers in there. So yeah, we'll see what we can come up with for next year. I'm trying to look maybe the Armory in Frostburg.
I like that idea.
That's a good. There's no bleachers on the sides there. It's pretty boxed in,
well open. Yeah,
just have to see what their Friday night schedule looks like. See if maybe we can use it.
I'm sure we'll have some success.
Worst case scenario is the Old Town School. I know we can get in there. We can rent that on Friday nights. So
that's a good one. I know Michael Crabtree and them.
They used to have that league there. Now the bleachers on the side kind of made it tough, but I mean, if we want to do something, we'll make whatever works. So
maybe we'll transition to basketball.
Yeah,
who knows?
Basketball. I mean, if we're going to do the rules, we got to
do it right. Exactly.
I mean, that's kind of where the wheelhouse adapted from, was the movie Basketball. Like, they took their game and made it their game.
It's always funny too, seeing the comments where people are like, "What is this?"
Yeah,
and trying to explain it to somebody.
Unless you come and experience it and see the weird rules. I mean, you get into it. Usually, there's not many people that have went just one time and said, "No, I'm not going back."
Yeah, exactly. Where the ball goes to the net. Drew, what's that? Is that a single, a double? Is that an out?
For sure.
Trying to get that. But yeah, MLB's back.
Yeah, it is.
Feels like all is right in the world again.
I feel like the first week's kind of been quiet, though. Usually, I mean, I feel like you got those games that come in with the bang, and I haven't really felt that yet. I mean, I guess it's coming maybe, but.
Yeah, well, there's a couple teams that are, Pirates 5-0, jumping out at you.
Yeah, it's like, unreal.
Wow.
But last year, I think they went 20-9 to start the season. I was looking at that, and then everybody's got that talk like, yeah, they're here this year.
Yeah.
And then what happens? They just fall.
What NL Central dogs in it?
Yeah, there is.
I know Cardinals have been playing amazing, but they're always a team up there. I think the Reds are gonna.
I seen somebody today post. One of the analysts said they took the Reds to go pretty good in the playoffs this year, and then get knocked off by the Dodgers. So.
Yeah.
So we'll see what happens there.
Yeah, the Dodgers.
They had the Padres picked in the NL, the Braves. I mean, they had pretty decent picks in there.
And it's early. I mean, we're only seven games in. 100 and some left. Like, it'll be a fun season.
Well, that same analyst in the American League, he had the only one I disagreed with on his whole list was he had the Mariners, and they don't look good starting out this year. I don't know what's going on.
Me being a Mariners fan, grew up watching Griffey. I think we'll be maybe around 500 games ahead.
I mean, they're batting. I think they're batting under 200 as a team right now.
What's rough is too. It's like basically we're relying on our big part is our bullpen.
Yeah,
get a run support. I mean, Luis Castillo, he's already 0-2.
Yeah,
but it's not like he's given up 7-8 runs.
They're not. I mean, they're striking out more than 10 times a game. Like, you can't win games if you're doing that consistently.
Exactly.
Like, that's tough.
Yeah, I know last night against the Guardians, Mitch Haniger, error. Next thing you know, next pitch, Bo Naylor's little brother smacks one.
I took a anytime home run from Rodriguez last night, just hoping maybe he'd get that.
Anytime home runs is fun.
It is.
You can put 4 or 5 dudes in there, $5 pay out like 10 grand.
Well, they do the Tuesday night thing on FanDuel with the $25 bet. Yeah, so I threw it on him. I threw it out there.
Tatis Jr. was hoping he would get one.
Yeah.
I also had him in a hit parlay, and I'd hit with him and Ian Happ, but couldn't get one over the wall.
I had Mookie selected and took him off. And then he comes out and ties the game up against the Giants in the 4th or 5th inning with the home run.
Not last night, night before, I had Bryce Harper for a home run. Didn't hit one. last night he hits 3.
That's the way it
I'm
works.
like, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
He had that, and day before that, I needed Max Muncy to hit 1.
I tell you, he come out hot this year. He's looking good.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that whole Dodgers lineup's ridiculous.
Oh my gosh, your ninth batter is Gavin Lux.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
But when you do people like Gavin Lux and Muncy, they're going to make or break what their season is because they're really good hitters and
oh my God.
they're just pulling everything together for that
you got
lineup.
Mookie, Shohei, Freddie Freeman, then either probably Will Smith, who just got a massive contract.
Yeah.
He's insane. Then you got Muncy. Like, there's no weak spots.
No, there's not. Maybe
one you're like, oh, we got to get this person out. Chris Taylor or somebody like that you can try and target. But still, what you can do, you can't pitch around them all.
No, and that's – I mean, you look at the first thing I do every time there's a commercial break in the MLB, it shows the next 3 batters up the next inning. And you can kind of gauge when you're watching your team, like, yeah, this could be a good inning. We're going to get through this and go to the next inning.
Yeah.
We don't have that with the Dodgers. You see their next 3 batters, and at least 2 of them are going to hit the ball.
Oh my gosh!
Makes it tough.
They're gonna put in play Freeman and Mookie Betts. I think leading the MLB with 4 or 5 home runs already.
I think he got 5. He might have hit his 6th last night, actually.
Yeah,
Shohei's been there. He's been their weakness so far, and that, you know, eventually he's gonna pick it up. So
exactly. That's how I am too when it comes to betting baseball. Sometimes, especially home runs, I'm like, this guy's due.
Tonight is the night. You can mark that down. Shohei home run tonight.
Home run. I got. I'm going. So last night I was like, all right. I went for Marcus Semien. Didn't hit one. I was like, tonight, a couple times it's burned me. I'm going to go back to him.
Okay.
Try to get Marcus Semien to hit a home run.
Let's see what we can do here. We got the Twins and Brewers up here in front of us watching live. Just started, so. We got a couple early games going on today.
Christian Yelich starting off well.
The whole Brewers team, they're on fire too.
Oh, man. I think Twins, they should win their division. I don't think there's really too much competition.
That might be one of the weaker divisions.
I think even last year, they would have been like 3rd or 4th place in the AL East. Not taking anything away from Minnesota, but that's where some teams, I think, like the Red Sox, you got to get New York's already starting off great. Juan Soto has brought an energy to that team.
Well, they have – what's going to help that AL East is they I don't know if you're aware, they changed the scheduling this year. So you no longer have the 20-21 division games. Like, used to play all your teams in the division 21 times, and that's how they made the schedule. This year, with the interleague play, you now play every division in baseball. So they eliminated all those division games, and you're playing every major league team, and that's how they compiled the schedule.
Man.
Usually you just play 2 divisions a year. Now it's all 4 divisions in each. So it did expand, and that's going to make it easy because you aren't going to have the 21 games with the Red Sox and Yankees. Like, you aren't going to have that all the time.
I know.
So your division games are a lot more important now if you're only playing 10 or 11.
Oh, yeah, that's huge.
Yeah.
But I like that. You kind of spread out the schedule.
I do, too. I hate it every time you turn it on. I'm a Giants fan, so it's tough. But every time you turn on the TV, it was either the Padres or the Dodgers. And then the Diamondbacks go and win the whole thing. It's like, what's going on?
Yeah. That's a young team, I think.
Yeah.
I mean, I know they made a great run, but Corbin Carroll, Marte, Christian Walker hit a 3-run last night. They've got a really
There's a lot of good young talent in the game right now.
Buxton.
He's going to catch it, running it down there.
2 down there.
So if you had to make an early prediction on your World Series team, who would you take this year?
I'm staying away from the Dodgers because I think that's where all the money's coming.
Their COVID World Series is going to be their only World Series. That's going to be it.
Yeah, and I think there's so much drama around them too. I mean, you got the Shohei stuff.
Yeah.
Who knows what's going to happen with that? I think we still haven't even seen the effects of what's going to happen with that. But if I had to make a prediction as an NL team, I'm actually probably going to go with the Reds. They're young. Their bullpen isn't bad. I think they can make a run.
I think that's the team.
In that park, they got Ellie De La Cruz. They got speed. I think that's a team for the NL.
Yeah.
AL, as much as I want to say my Mariners, I'm going Orioles.
Orioles.
I think
bold prediction.
Yeah. They're another youth team.
Yeah.
And they got people. I mean, I know everyone's ready for Jackson Holiday. He hit another home run.
Yeah, it's just a matter of time.
Yeah, and I don't mind the Baltimore. Like, hey, let's get him some more I guess
It's a smart move. I think it's a smart move.
Yeah.
Let him develop.
I know they were kind of concerned with him facing anybody who's southpaw, left-handers.
Yeah.
But I don't see why they can't.
Nah, he's going to come up and do well, and I think they'll
believe
have a
before
good
the
run.
All-Star break,
Yeah,
he'll be up there.
As much as I hate, I'm not a Yankee fan. As much as I hate to say it, I think they're going to be the team to beat in the AL this year. I think somebody's going to have to prove them.
It's like every year. It's like
it is.
They're the team.
Yankees and Dodgers. That's how it is.
A little bit of history there too.
Yeah. I don't think the Dodgers. I'm gonna go with the Braves and the NL. I think they're gonna get there.
I couldn't believe it was like the Phillies are their kryptonite.
Yeah. It's unreal. Phillies in the playoffs.
That's another rivalry that's just that
it lingers.
Oh yeah, exactly. What was it? Bryce Harper hitting that home run and staring at her, seeing the whole way around.
I love that. That's great
that's
time of year.
Over the top.
Yeah. Like the Batista bat flip a few years ago. There's just things like that. I love it. That's when I think of baseball.
Those are like moments that it's like capture. Where were you?
Yeah, exactly.
There's a whole bunch of moments. And I think that's what makes baseball like just America's pastime. Some people are like, oh, it's boring. Baseball is the one sport that I would probably say if you want to go to an event live, go to a baseball game.
Yeah.
There's so much. Like football, you have like the commercials. Like it's better just to watch it at home. Honestly, you get the better commentary.
Yeah.
If you're at it live, unless you're dead set in the center, you might pick up wrong end zone. Not have to watch half the game from action. NBA. You're probably already looking up.
NBA. I do enjoy the NBA though, and I'm not huge into basketball, but the live DJ at an NBA game makes it fun.
Oh yeah,
because you don't get that in any other sport.
Yeah, the only time, even if you see it, like if you have NBA TV, there's no audio with it. It's just So, and UFC events, I don't know if you've ever been to one. You've got to go. That's on the bucket list. And I tell people, you don't got to be sitting on the floor. You probably want to be second or third tier up and see over it. You're not looking through the cage. And I'm telling you, the first guys or girls who are fighting, you hear everything. It is so clear. I was in New Jersey for Ryan Bader and Anthony Johnson, and I can't even tell you the first heard it. I was like, oh my gosh. So you think about like local fighters around here too, who are like, I mean, they're killers.
Yeah.
To the normal person. Can you imagine fighting somebody like that?
Oh, it's crazy. Speaking of the UFC, did you watch the new Roadhouse movie?
I have not.
Oh,
I have not. I hear about it.
You got to watch it. It's great.
You like it?
I loved it. It was very. I mean, they probably could have named it something else because I don't even think it had to be Roadhouse.
Yeah.
But just the characters in that movie make the movie. It was really well put together.
McGregor's like built for that stuff.
Yeah,
I know people hate him, but he's built for that. And I'm glad they gave him a bad guy.
Yeah.
Like playing heel.
And he had the perfect role. It was the perfect role for him in that movie.
And I'm a huge Jake Gyllenhaal fan.
Oh, yeah.
Jake Gyllenhaal kills everything.
Yeah, definitely must see.
I always tell people him, Christian Bale. Those are a couple of my favorite guys that I'm always like, if they're in it, I'm watching. Nothing for the Twins in the top the first.
No, a little bit of struggle there. Had some good hard hits, just right at people. So we got the K cam this week. We do have one K that was submitted that I really liked, so we can pull that up here for the week.
K cam.
If you want to walk by dog. This was submitted by Jim Rice. Nice little K here we'll pull up.
He knew it too.
Yeah, just the reaction from I love when they know it before the umpire knows it, and the batter didn't even attempt to lift the bat off his shoulder.
Oh man!
So that was Jim Rice there. Thanks for the submission. I met Jim at a home run derby a few years ago, and I know you don't see it on that video, but the guy's an absolute monster. Like
Rod Davis.
He's actually bigger than Rod Davis, and I know I don't say that too often. The dude, he is just a monster. and he hits the ball so well. So when he's on the mound, the last thing you want to do is hit it back at him.
Oh yeah.
You know he's going to.
Or your pitchers be like,
yeah.
please don't go middle.
Yeah.
Please don't go.
So having somebody like that on the mound, I think, is real big in softball.
Watch ball. Oh, he's going too. No, good backup.
I think he might have made it though. A little throwaway at first base.
That's tough getting infield, trying to plant your feet, turn.
Yeah,
because seconds matter.
Yeah, once you hesitate, you're done. If you got to keep just going at that point.
Oh yeah, try to pick it.
But he didn't know where the catcher was, which the catcher isn't going to be at that angle.
Yeah, and if he sets his feet there, he's not making the play.
Nah.
Zach Gallen made a really good play yesterday.
I'll tell you, he's coming along really well.
Yeah, Gallen's keeps ball low.
Yeah. So we have the Final Four. What's your take on the Final Four with the men's side of things?
UConn's to lose, right? UConn's to lose.
Yeah, I mean they're winning games by 30 points. It's going to be hard to beat them.
And what's his name? Hurley, coach. What a good guy.
Yeah.
They win by 30, and he's like, Illinois is a well-coached team, and maybe it's kind of like in the locker room, he's like, let's go.
Oh, yeah.
Like, we knew we were going to kick their butt.
Yeah.
And stuff. I think it's got to be them and Purdue, right? Zach Edey.
Yeah. I mean, it's Purdue boys. It's the outside boys on that. That's so much hustle and so much life. And then, of course, Edey on the inside. Just feed him.
Tennessee fans weren't happy. It was like every time they even sneezed, he's getting a foul.
Yeah. It's rough. I mean, Tennessee really didn't have any size inside, so what do you do?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I'm probably going to go UConn.
Yeah.
Who we have in our bracket? We actually have Austin Bittner. I think if UConn wins, he should be the one to take it.
I think actually Steve Leidick. I think he's number 2 right now with UConn. Braden's real high with UConn, and then Paul Pellick on the Purdue side has Purdue picked, and he has UConn in the finals. So if Purdue wins, he's pretty much a lock for that.
Okay.
And nobody had NC State. Nobody had the other.
DJ Burns.
Yeah,
he reminds me of like Zach Randolph.
Yeah, he does.
Memphis,
a lot of
dude,
Randolph.
Got the turn left.
Got a little bit of attitude to him. A little bit of Draymond Green in him. Like,
oh gosh, what do you have? 30 the other night.
Yeah.
Oh man.
He's fun to watch. I think some of those other big guys in it will put it to him though. I mean, Edey, I think they would put him. He's going to struggle there. He's probably going to get in foul trouble, and that's going to be the downfall.
They said if you rolled over every NC State win in tournament, you'd be up to $66,000.
Oh my goodness!
It was insane. Obviously, the Duke won.
Yeah,
pass ball there. Brewers got second and third, one out, sack fly, giving a early lead.
Twins just making some goofy mistakes in the first inning, all from the pitcher.
Oh, I know.
That's 2 big mistakes from him there.
Who's our coach? Rocco Baldelli? Is that from Minnesota?
You know what? I'm not sure on that. I don't follow American League too much.
I like that new the electronic where they call the plays for the pitcher.
Oh yeah, I think that's cool. Everything's through the.
No more banging on trash cans.
Yeah. Well, you can say that, but there might be.
There's probably some way they're going to get it figured out.
They're probably hacking into that system. They know what's coming.
I know no one will really ever forget that, but I think like Altuve is the only guy on there now. But so even with the team, everyone else is gone. Springer, Correa, Correa there short actually for Santana. He's bounced around. He was with Pittsburgh last year. Had a really pretty good season.
Pittsburgh just picked up. I saw they picked up Joey Bart from the Giants today, or I guess it was last night.
Mm-hmm.
Which he's decent. He'll be a good pickup for them.
Speaking of trades, did you hear about Stephon Diggs to the Texans?
Yeah, that was the big news today. The breaking news. Texans.
C.J. Stroud, Tank Dell, Nico Collins.
I saw J.J. Watt actually posting about how
he's coming back.
He's
like, bring me back.
As soon as he posted that, I'm like, man, he's got that life for them. Like he wants to be part of that group.
Exactly.
So he's excited for where it's going. They're going to be tough. Maybe not this year yet, but next year I think they're going to make a pretty good run.
That was what was so crazy about when they played Baltimore. I mean, they just got shut down.
Yeah.
That Baltimore defense.
Quarterback was young. I mean, he's going to learn. He's going to definitely improve this year.
He didn't turn the ball over, really.
No, he didn't.
He just holding on to the ball, sacks, getting you.
Against that Baltimore D, though, that was tough, too.
Yeah, exactly. They just got a running back, too, didn't they? Why do I feel like they got a running back? I know Singletary left.
I'm not sure.
Yeah, I'm not sure on that. Close to account there.
So we got Lasers Locks. What do we got for Lasers Locks this week?
Match my face up there.
We don't have three of us. It's harder to get in that middle this week.
I'm going to go. I know they've struggled early, but give me the Mets money line tonight.
Going with the Mets tonight. We'll have this posted before tonight.
Yes. Game's projected 7-10. I know they got rained out last night, so they'll probably have a doubleheader here soon. That's the team. They have the talent. They got Lindor, Pete Alonso, Alvarez. He's an animal. Nimmo, very patient. McNeil, patient guy. They actually had a little scuffle there with Rhys Hoskins, who's up the bat here for the Brewers. Bases clearing. I know McNeil thought he kind of slid into him, but it looked good to me. And they threw behind him the next game and tossed him.
Get them tossed right away. I mean, that's the new thing this year. They said if you throw behind a batter, you're tossed. Like, it happens. Like, it's going to happen sometimes. Exactly. And it's not always going to be on purpose. But they said there's no tolerance anymore for it. Once you do it, you're done. So,
and that's these teams know.
Yeah.
So, unless they're like, hey, we're going to do this. Because, some teams are like, I don't care. We'll take the suspension.
Yeah. Whatever.
Still surprised, though, that no one's picked up Trevor Bauer.
It's coming. I think it's a matter of time. It's going to be an injury down the stretch with somebody in the rotation.
Willing to take the league minimum.
Yeah.
Just go straight off incentives. He's already pitched against the Yankees, Dodgers. Actually, against the Dodgers, he was asking fans,
nice play.
Oh, can I get the double play?
That's a top 10 play right there, 100%.
Oh, my gosh.
Third baseman just made a backhanded play, turned a double play with bases loaded, 1 out, got the Twins out of it.
Man, if you had a Nerfy there,
oh yeah, that's pumping out. Man, I guarantee it.
Yeah,
actually, you know what? I did take this game for a Nerfy, but I took each starting pitcher to also have 4 strikeouts. I paired them all.
Oh, okay.
So we'll see if it hits. But I forgot all about that till just now. Good. I knew we would have the game on. So I wanted to put that in before we started.
I had Baltimore and Royals Nerfy. Burns pitching today, so really just kind of worried about the Orioles top 3.
Yeah.
I mean, Gunnar Henderson, Rutschman, and then here you got Mountcastle, Hayes. They got a lineup too. Santana.
Yeah.
That's a guy. Normally typically bats third. Goldschmidt, he's off to a good year for San Francisco. Really surprised at Arenado. Like, I know he played great for the USA.
Yeah.
And he just
kind of quiet. Yeah.
What are you doing?
So Lasers Locks, we got the Mets money line tonight.
Yeah. So I got a handful of people I'm going for home runs. I got Corey Seager. I hope he get his first. A little more longer shot, Evan Carter. I don't know if anyone follows. I subscribe to Ballpark Pal. Really good website that breaks it down for you. Hey, the physics of everything.
Does it go with the weather and everything? Like, does it
100%. Everything's cool. They have a most likely report, pitching report, over under. Great website. If anyone's interested in following baseball and the gambling, look at Ballpark Pal. $10 a month. It's perfect. Update every 9 a.m. I get the text. Hey, here's all of it. Not saying anything's guaranteed because there's
no guarantee. No such thing as a guarantee.
Yeah. But
except for a Shohei Ohtani home run tonight. Plus 235, mark it down, home run tonight.
What was he doing with the Angels? Didn't he hit one in like 7 straight games? It was insane.
Yeah.
Or it was actually almost like a minus 115. Like he's probably going to hit one.
Yeah.
Which is still so crazy. Him and Trout on the same team, they couldn't get the playoffs.
Unreal.
I know a lot of people feel like the Angels kind of wasted Mike Trout.
Yeah.
Which is weird because I think he's still insane. He started off great this year too. Already, I think he's got three home runs. It's just, I think Angels are done. There's a couple teams I think that are already, you're done. Rockies, I think.
I don't know what happened to them.
Rockies.
They had that good few year stretch there where they had a bunch of big names and then they're just kind of laying down.
Yeah, a couple teams like that. I don't know. I hate saying my Mariners, but we'll have to see what they look like even at the All-Star break. I think they're just going to be 500. I'm not sold on the Nationals yet, but they have been played a couple good ball here last week.
A's aren't the A's a little bit rough?
Yeah.
I think.
Well, they're moving to L.A. Is that or
Vegas? Yeah, moving to Vegas. That will be exciting. I mean, every time a new team goes to Vegas, I feel like they do really well. I mean, if you look, the Raiders should have. They had the team to do well.
That's what. But you could tell like that city just at the games.
Yeah.
Like they were like, "Hey, we're just not going to."
I mean, the hockey team's been unreal since going to Vegas. Like it's nuts.
Exactly. Las Vegas Raiders.
Yeah.
They've been looking good. They've made a couple changes this year.
I think that'll bring the life back to the Athletics, though. Are they changing their name? Do you know? Have you heard?
I haven't heard that.
I would imagine they're going to change.
Las Vegas Athletics?
Yeah.
You think they'll keep the Athletics?
They won't keep the Athletics.
Is that stuff not trademark, but is that stuff like, hey, that name has been bought?
Well, most of them have a meaning for the city. So I know.
That's what bothered me so much about, not really, I mean, it didn't really bother me, but like the Indians. Like, that was so cool.
Yeah.
Such a sweet. I love the logo.
It was fun. It was like a cartoonish logo.
Yeah.
Meant no harm to anybody. I don't understand.
Tough.
The Athletics, though, my Pat played for the Athletics when they were in Philly.
Oh, wow.
So he played with the Philadelphia Athletics, and they made the move to Oakland. So
that's awesome.
And they kept the name with them. So they did travel with that name. So maybe they will take it to Vegas. I don't know. I haven't really even looked up to see if there's any ideas on what they're doing with it.
I think it was at a time where they're just like, let's just get people to the park, please. Can we just have people here?
Yeah, I know people were protesting, trying to keep them in. I mean, you had both sides of that spectrum there.
Yeah,
and it all stems from the owners. I mean, that's how it goes. What's going to put the money in their pocket? What's going to be in their best interest?
Like trying to have that balance. What do you think? So now we're on to baseball. Top 3 baseball movies. What are your 3 favorite
baseball movies?
That's not, what are your 3 favorite? It's like, hey, if we're watching baseball movie, this is what we got to watch.
I mean, Field of Dreams, probably. That always comes to my mind when I think
exactly. You build it, they will come.
Yeah. But I tell you, there's some good baseball movies. What's the Rookie? Is that
Dan Quinn? Is it Dan Quinn or Dan Quill, something like that?
I don't think it's I forget his name. It starts with a Q, though.
Yeah.
I do know that.
Quick.
Older man, coaches the baseball team.
I saw that live in theaters. I saw that in theaters.
That's probably in my top 3 because I just love the storyline of that game.
Yeah,
I'm not sure on the 3rd. Probably Angels in the Outfield. Like that was like one of the first baseball movies I watched growing up.
Oh my gosh,
and I loved it. So I mean, you got Rookie of the Years in there. You got a lot of good movies with baseball. A lot of fun ones, a lot of serious ones. So.
Oh yeah, exactly. I mean, my favorite's probably going to be Sandlot.
Yeah,
takes you back to being a kid.
It does,
and how awesome it is. Just like there's nothing better, just hanging out with your friends, playing ball. Oh, what are we doing? Oh, we're going to the pool. We're going to the fair. Stuff like that you can like relate to.
Yeah,
like that. It's on Netflix. I just watched it and I love it. Moneyball. Oh my gosh, that movie's so good.
Yeah. And it's true. Like the true story about it is great. There's what's the one that had the cricket players from India that come over and play with the Pirates? That's the true story. Do you remember that movie? They had two pitchers that they went over and recruited playing cricket. And they did this back, and I remember this because me and my uncle used to go to Pittsburgh and get, when they were at Three Rivers, and we would go early to games, like at noon, 7 o'clock games, and get autographs of everybody coming into the lot because they had a parking lot where the players parked specifically outside the stadium. Well, when these 2 guys come over from India, they were getting taxied into the stadium, and they wanted that fame because that's the whole reason they come over.
Yeah.
So of course they would sit there and sign everybody's autographs, and everybody's like, "Who are these guys?" And then you learn the story about them. But they went out and recruited guys. Like it's a great movie though. They made a good movie about it.
Man, yeah, I don't even think I've ever heard of it.
Yeah, they come over. I think it was the agent's house that they stayed at. The 2 of them stayed at, and they ended up making a career out of it and getting the call up. They both got frustrated. Both wanted to go home. You know how it is. You're trying to make that run, and things don't always happen perfect. So, but I'll find out that name. It's a great movie, though.
Man.
like Moneyball. It's just the true story parts of that.
Oh, yeah.
That's what I like.
Oh man, Castro knew that one there.
So you got Sandlot,
Moneyball, and Field of Dreams. I love that.
Yeah.
I don't know if you ever seen Bull Durham.
Bull Durham. I actually just pulled that up on Amazon Prime. Yeah, it's on there.
That's a really good one. Those would probably be my favorite ones.
Speaking of Field of Dreams, they're actually running softball games now there. They're inviting softball teams from different states and running them at the Field of Dreams.
I remember.
Which would be a blast.
That park, it looks so cool.
Yeah.
I mean, they do it. I like how they set it up. MLB does a really good job.
With the MLB game?
Oh.
Yeah, that's a cool setup. And they're going to make that their thing. I love that.
Yeah.
Same with the Little League World Series. Doing that game. Like, I love that they're doing that as they are.
Yeah,
makes baseball fun and makes it fun for the kids.
I tell people, if you haven't been to Williamsport, you got to go.
That's probably, sporting-wise, that's probably my favorite experience to go see.
I'd really like to go see the NCAA softball.
Oklahoma State.
Oh my gosh, that'd be so much fun.
I think that would be a blast.
You think about events like that. I know with the Field of Dreams game, it was Yankees and White Sox. Tim Anderson hits that walk-off. Fireworks.
Old school uniforms. Everything about that was
and introduced them out of the cornfield. I really like the commercial they did last year. They had Griffey and the dad's there. He's like, "Oh, who's that?" He's like, "Oh, that's the kid." So cool. And then he's throwing the ball with his dad.
Yeah.
I don't think, if you like baseball, I don't think anyone had any issue with Griffey. Like, the shirt I have at home is your favorite player's favorite player. His shoes, turning the hat backwards.
Yeah, he was. I mean, he's just an all-around good person the whole way through. Fans, players, everybody likes him.
Yeah.
And it's fun when you have somebody like that that's for the sport that everybody can be like that with.
Even with the whole, you have your what-ifs, but people would ask him about Bonds. Like, what do you think about Bonds? And he's like, still got to hit the ball.
Yeah,
he could have been he could have trashed him. It's like, you still got to hit the ball.
Yeah, he knows. I mean, whether you like Bonds or not, one of the greatest hitters of all time. It is what it is.
Which is what's crazy is thinking about the pitching. How good of pitchers were in that era that you had to pitch against.
Yeah.
McGuire, Sosa, Bonds. So pitchers like Pedro and all that. Shows you how amazing they are.
Yeah.
I still think hitting a baseball is probably the hardest thing to do in sports.
I guarantee it. I mean, you can get in the Hall of Fame if you bat over 300. If you're doing 3 out of 10 and you're getting in the Hall of Fame, shows you how hard it is.
Yeah, that's what I think Shannon Sharp had asked Deion Sanders. Was like, "What's the hardest thing you've ever done?" He's like, he's like, anytime you can fail at something 7 times and only succeed 3 times out of 10, he goes, baseball is the hardest.
Yeah.
I mean, which actually, guys like him, Bo Jackson, how freak of athletes they were to be able to play both sports and play it well. Wasn't I know Jordan obviously struggled, only went Double-A or whatever, but
I saw a highlight yesterday. Speaking of Bo Jackson and Deion, they were showing it yesterday where he scored, or where he hit a home run and scored a touchdown in the same week.
Yeah,
but his home run was an inside the Parker that Bo Jackson dove and missed, and he ended up getting an inside Parker at a play at home, which was a great play.
Yeah.
Just seeing that stat about a touchdown and a home run in the same week is just it's mind blowing. What's the chances? Imagine if they would have had FanDuel back then and had prop bets like that.
Oh, geez.
You're looking at plus
Deion
4 or 5
home run and
because that's a defensive touchdown, and then he wasn't a home run hitter. So to have both of those in the same time.
I'll see too, where I was interesting to see where he said my sons won't play anywhere cold.
Yeah,
it's kind of weird because he's up in Colorado.
He's in Colorado. I guess he's looking for that warm environment. He's looking for the Dolphins, or maybe he's looking for the Cowboys.
I just find it hard to believe that some of the players coming into drafts and whatnot, like Caleb Williams wanting hey, if I'm drafted by the Panthers, I want, or whoever, I want stock, something like that.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, I can understand if Tom Brady asked for it, I'm coming Buccaneers.
Yeah.
Hey, give me, I want some partial ownership.
It's this young mentality, I think. Some of this new generation is
not saying they're not exceptional athletes either. It's just
asking for too much.
Haven't even thrown a pass.
Yeah. Denying teams to go certain teams in the draft. Like, I don't like that. Like, let it fall into place how it should fall into place.
And it's funny, too, when you think, well, they just postponed the Mets game, so
there goes your money line. There goes your
gone.
Laser Slock, Ohtani home run.
Maybe we make the pivot. Let's go. He hasn't hit one yet, so he's due.
Yeah, but back to you were talking about Griffey and the attitude Griffey has.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think if Bonds would have had that attitude during his career that he would be a Hall of Famer right now?
I don't know how they are denying him the Hall of Fame. Him, is Clemens in yet? Did they push Clemens through, or is he?
He would.
Like Clemens.
If he didn't, I think he did get in, but if he didn't, he was real close to those votes.
And we're speaking to like
Bonds is off the ballot now, so he's not even on the ballot unless the players' union and the players put him in, which they have the option to do.
I don't see how they can't.
But do you think if he would have treated media and treated players like Griffey did for his whole career, that it would be a no-doubter right now?
Maybe.
Or do you think they would still hold it against him?
I still think they'd hold it against him. Because, what was ugly was, how at that time when they went in front of Congress, I think of, Rafael Palmeiro.
Mm-hmm.
It was I have never done it. And then a week later, it was pop. Hey, man. And it's a hard pill to swallow, and I guess being in that situation, I would rather them be brutally honest. That's what I was doing.
Yeah.
Because you just see the aftermath of it. Lance Armstrong was doing stuff to try and help him beat cancer. And it's how many people were doing it?
Yeah.
For Lance Armstrong, I think they said you had to go back to 27th place to even find somebody who wasn't. He was okay, well, we showed up. Everyone's doing it.
Yeah. His is a different situation. I'm really not sure why his was illegal. Why it's. I mean, I get it. It can be a performance enhancer if you're putting new oxygenated blood in your system. But
I think what they said was at times where you would normally be getting tired, you're still your blood cells.
But what's the difference between that and somebody having a flu and going and getting an IV at halftime?
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, they're getting something to enhance their performance from what it would be normally.
Cortisone shots in your
all
back
the
for
time,
football players. Halftime. Tony Romo
hurt an ankle and go back in the locker room, and you see him running back out 20 seconds later. It's the dude couldn't even walk.
Paul Pierce, they roll him out in a wheelchair.
But yeah, I mean, there's a fine line with how they decide what you can do and what you can't do.
Mm-hmm.
I get baseball with the steroids. I get that because there's only one reason you're taking those.
Yeah.
But remember.
But now there's it's different. People all the time take steroids to heal faster.
Yeah.
It's not just strictly I'm doing this so I can smash home runs. But what I think a lot of people are they'll post a picture of Bonds in Pittsburgh uniform and then
San Francisco's size.
That's a different person.
Oh, there was somebody, I saw a picture of somebody last night, baseball player. Just unbelievable growth from last year. It was the big boy from the Rangers, the big hitter.
Garcia.
Yeah. Did you see how big he got?
His neck.
He hit a weightlifting program. Well, I guess it's a weightlifting program in the offseason. And and if you put the Bonds picture beside that picture, it is identical, and that's in a 1-year change.
Did you see him? They had a video of him swinging metal bat. He's hitting 550.
500.
Oh, golly.
Unreal. If you put a metal bat in some of their hands.
I always joke around at a home run derby, instead of hey, this is a money ball, hey, you got to swing a metal bat, but they'll probably kill somebody.
Oh, yeah. Guarantee it.
Especially you're smashing that ball, smash the scoreboard. I mean, imagine somebody like Vlad Guerrero smacking one. Insane. Speaking of bats, too, pivoting back to softball, what is it like? What kind of bat are you looking for? Or have you noticed certain players hey, you should probably swing this bat. It's lighter in load versus a different style of bat.
That's always a big thing in a softball dugout. Somebody gets a new bat that it hits well, and they're going down on, hey, swing this.
Mm-hmm.
And you have your people that will swing it because they want to try something.
Yeah.
So they're switching bats every time they see something new. I'm against that. I like to find one and stick with it, what I'm comfortable with, because when I get up to the plate, that's 70% mental is how you're feeling, how that box is, if it's sloppy and you can't get a good grip, if the bat grip's not good in the bat, like every little thing when you get up to the plate's mental. So if I find a bat I'm comfortable with, I stick with it.
Yeah.
And of course, I like the Proton bats. I like the way they feel. In the colder weather lately, I don't always swing them because I don't want to break them.
Yeah.
And they don't, I'm going to say they perform great, but they perform better when it's hot outside.
Yeah.
So in the middle of the summer when it's 95 and 100 degrees, that Proton excels to where other bats don't.
Yeah.
And so right now at this time of year, I feel like there's bats that are better. There's bats that are worse. I mean, everybody's on the Louisville kick right now, and I'll give them credit. They crush the ball. They do.
Yeah.
But when it's hot out, I feel like it changes. It's weird how that just temperature changes the whole bat's performance.
And you were speaking too on that mental aspect of where somebody may, try a new bat and they get a good hit first time mentally.
Yeah,
stick with this bat.
Yeah, this thing's it.
I mean, I personally had that happen. Was swinging a Savi at one time. I think it was what they called
Savage.
Savage.
You had the Savage.
Savage had the green one.
Yeah.
It was good. It was solid. I was able to get around quick. But one tournament we played up in PA, had your Hellcat.
Yeah, oh my! Yeah.
The rest of the day, like I had one like single or something, ball fell in for me, but it just came off the bat beautiful. That whole day, I was like,
I wish I could find another of that model Hellcat. There's two bats, and I've been playing softball since 2007, so it's 17, 18 years. There's two bats that if I come across, they're the bats, and that's the OG Easton Fireflex, and then that Hellcat. And that Hellcat had the same barrel as that Fireflex, but those bats are just unbelievable how they perform.
26 ounces, and I was like, man, I could be able to get it around quick. I ain't gonna be able to get that slice. First one, it was double in the gap. I'm like, oh my god, this is what I want.
It's just a different kind of feeling with certain bats. There was I guess probably back in about 2011 or 12, D. Marini come out with a bat called the Stadium, and it was their OG Stadium. And it had the same kind of feel. It felt like a trampoline when you hit it off the bat. So, yeah, I think a lot of it is mental, though. You get it. You start out hot with a certain thing, and you're kind of stuck with it. And I understand that because in your head, it is the better thing because you're doing well with it.
Exactly. Suncoast has some really good bats too.
Yeah, they do, and they've had some bats get banned that they were that good that they got banned. So
what goes into banning a bat? Like, hey, this bat is banned. What are the basically reasons as to why this bat is banned?
So when they make a bat, they can only perform at a certain number. They got a certain threshold that they have to stay under for that bat to be legal, to be safe in the softball world.
Okay.
Otherwise, somebody gets killed, lawsuits happen, crazy.
So it's kind of like baseball, like the reaction time for a pitcher.
Yeah. So what they do, and that is a lot of it because like in USA softball, they have a 98-mile-an-hour limit that bat's allowed to hit with your average 52 300 softball. It can only come off at a maximum of 98 mile an hour. So that bat has to perform under that threshold.
Now, how do they test that? So how do they test? Do they get, hey, Ryan Harvey, come swing this thing?
It's a lot of analytics go into it. I know with Proton last year, they put out an ASA bat, and it became the highest performing legal bat that has ever been created for USA softball.
And you're speaking in terms of like the conference level, or is this just all of softball?
This is all of softball. Okay. All to get that, they have that stamp on that bat.
I don't know if they would have like these are the best players. They're going to be the ones testing it or whatever.
I'm not sure who tests it. I don't know if that it's a machine. It's the same system. That way it's even across the board.
Right.
But I know that when they put out that Smith bat last year, it hit right at that 98 mile an hour mark. Mm-hmm. And that was it. That was the top that's ever been put out. So, and they hit that mark. Like,
man,
that's what you're aiming to do, I guess.
Yeah, exactly. That's tough.
But now that they got the compression checkers and it's got to stay at a certain compression in order to be legal, these companies want to hit that mark, but they also want to stay at that mark once they hit it. And that's where the toughness comes in.
I always love hearing that like science stuff. don't you actually have a tester?
Yeah,
here?
and we test
bats. And so, what are you testing for here?
So we're testing the compression. What we do is we test the compression to make sure that they pass, first of all, so we can use them in tournaments.
Right.
But then we're also, when we go to BPs, we're hitting different balls. We're hitting in different temperatures. We're coming home and testing them again to see what's making that big difference in their testings. What's going to make them fail after we go out and hit them.
And do you guys look into that stuff? Oh, let's go.
Yeah, that would have been a great catch.
Do you guys look into that stuff when maybe you're building a lineup? You're like, hey, like this is bat we need. This one you need to swing, kind of thing. Or is it like, hey, just go with what's best for you?
I think we kind of know. Just the running joke around our team right now is that laser vision that I use, that green laser vision, because we've been playing a lot of cold weather ball. It's a really heavy bat, which usually people are against. They want, hey, we want a 25 ounce so our girls can swing it faster. What that laser vision in the cold weather is, I don't think anything can compare to it because it holds up and it still passes.
Yeah.
And just even the heavier bat, those girls just hit it well. Yeah. So that's been our running joke is, hey, pick up that laser vision and swing it, and it's worked. So
we were talking there about some elements. How Frostburg? I know we had some rain.
We had the big Frostburg draft. We were supposed to go live and commentate. We had some things come up. We have some network issues to figure out with the computer because when we hooked this up at the Wheelhouse Friday night, I had the mobile hotspot, but you couldn't connect the GoPro to the network. It wouldn't pick up the network. So there's a few minor things that we got to figure out before we can go live at the fields. But we're gonna get it. We're gonna figure it out.
Yeah, even if we're commentating from home, figuring out watching a game live, watching tournament live.
Even if we turn the GoPro on and live feed it, and then bring a guest on through the phone, we can still sit there and commentate even at the field. So there's some things we can do to figure that out. But as far as Frostburg, the draft, that went extremely well. I know I was stressed out all week looking at the weather, hoping and praying that you don't want things like that canceled.
Yeah, I mean, especially when you've set it up, you got everyone's buy-in.
People are traveling, money in hotels. You don't want to be the guy to say, hey, I'm sorry, we gotta go. So we did what we had to do to make it work. The field conditions, I'll tell you, Frostburg might be the best field conditions as far as taking care of their fields that we've seen in a long time.
Holds rain pretty well.
Both fields were excellent. The box got a little bit sloppy on the top field, just a little bit, but everything else was great.
I saw a couple posts where people were tagging you. Looks like maybe you were kind of promoting some bats, trying to sell some bats.
Yeah, guy come down from New York. Dylan from New York has DRN Sports up there, and he had a really good day trading and selling bats there. He sells batting gloves, sells grips,
awesome. We'll have to bring him on one day. I saw that.
Sure.
I was like, that's so cool. Kind of like a little cross promotion.
He had a blast to come down and set up for the day. Also, he was on my team. He played on my team. Really good ball player.
Yeah.
But we had a great turnout there. We had about 110 people playing in the tournament. A lot of families and stuff on the sides watching, which I love to see.
That's so awesome when you get like people that are like, oh, what's going on here? Like, it kind of brings that excitement around.
Brian Both is the park and rec manager for Frostburg. We appreciate him and getting us those fields. Like that worked out great. Great location. They got new lights up there on the lower field, so hopefully next time around we can get the lights on and see what that looks like. I think everybody had a blast. We had people traveling from York for the day.
Oh, wow.
There was probably about 20 people that came from York, and they had a blast.
Oh, yeah. That's awesome.
And I love to see that because you have people from all different recreation through pretty competitive players there. And just to see everybody have fun was good.
Good. Now, who came out on top?
We had Ray Scro's team who took over for Marcellus because Marcellus couldn't make it. So he took the team over, and he had Sam Jordan, Danny Dillo, Lauren that was on our podcast.
Lauren, yeah.
She ended up getting the female MVP. Had a really good day there. Sam Jordan got the male MVP. I tell you, about every time up for the day, he was hitting a home run. I saw maybe 4 or 5 at bats where he didn't all day long. So it's fun to watch when you get somebody that's on like that.
I can't wait to set up. We can figure out the live setup. That'd be so much fun.
Yeah, definitely. And now it's the time of year where the weather's going to get nice. And we're going to be able to do that, which is going to be a blast. As speaking of that, we're next weekend. We're out in Ohio playing men's on Saturday.
Okay.
So we'll have a live feed running out there. The women aren't playing, so maybe men can set up the GoPro. We can get something going.
Something out, yeah. Maybe I can come here and not set off the alarm.
Yeah, there we go. 2 weeks from now, we're down at Chance Crawford in Roanoke, Virginia. So that's a Friday co-ed tournament, and then a men's is Saturday and Sunday. So we're going to have 3 days of ball there.
That's
so
awesome.
It's going to be a good time. So we're looking forward to that. That'll pretty much round out our April schedule.
Okay. So you guys are going to be pretty active. And hopefully these April showers pass.
Yeah.
Man, it is pouring.
Now, the Roanoke fields are very well kept. They have some turf fields down there. Same with Columbus next week, the turf fields. So the rain out shouldn't be a factor in the next 2 weeks. But then as we get into May and start playing on the dirt and things, you know how that goes. So
yeah,
let's hope for the good weather. They're supposed to have a big draft up in Morgantown this weekend. Matt Luther's running it.
Okay.
And I would like to get him on here sometime too, because he's going to be promoting a lot of tournaments.
We can definitely tag a bunch of people in our comments once we post this.
Yeah.
Try and get that feedback. Hey, what's everyone want to hear? What do you want to talk about?
He's worried this weekend with the flooding because they shut down schools up there today because of the flooding. So he's worried that that's going to get maybe canceled. And
we had an alert, a couple alerts locally about, hey, like if you go to this area, be very cautious.
Yeah, I mean, if you look outside my basement door right now, the whole bottom's flooded. So,
well, I was on the way here. When I was on the way here, I had taken a picture. I can really tell. That's how high the water is.
Oh, that's down by the fruit bowl.
I don't know if anyone can see that.
It's right in this area right here. We got Wills Creek right outside my door here, and they said it crested at noon today, so it shouldn't get any higher.
Yeah.
So, but there is spots where it come up over the road. Roads are shut down. You know, there was a lot of local flooding. So I hope everybody stayed safe out there.
Yeah. Speaking of staying safe, the eclipse. It's coming.
Oh yeah, next Monday.
They're 3 hour early dismissal from schools now.
Are they doing that?
Yeah, they're you can't even look at it without sunglasses.
Well, I bought the Amazon. We bought a couple pair of the glasses, and actually, it came with a filter that goes over top of your cell phone, so you can use your cell phone camera. So it'll be cool.
Okay.
I know last time we had the eclipse in 2017, I was in St. Louis for work, and we went to the arch out there, and was at the park there looking at the eclipse, which was a blast. Really cool. It was pretty neat. So things like that are fun. I mean, my daughter loves the moon, loves the stars, everything about the sky she's in love with. Yeah. So that's something she looks forward to, which is fun.
It's still so crazy how much of space, like 5% maybe, not even close. Same thing with the ocean. But they said we've explored more of space than we have of the ocean,
which is wild,
which is insane.
You just wonder what's really out there at that point. Oh my
gosh. That's why I started thinking, like, hey, Atlantis probably was real.
Yeah.
Loch Ness Monster, there was probably something there. They say now, I mean, you can only go so far.
Yeah.
Before, I mean, obviously we've seen what happened with, unfortunately, the Titanic submerged.
Yeah.
I mean,
well, speaking of that guy, what do you think of the bridge in Baltimore with the cargo ship?
That's terrible.
Yeah,
they even had like the video. I've seen a video of on the bridge. I guess they have recordings, from other. I mean, they got $28 billion in exports daily. How much dollars?
There's so many factors that are going on right now with that. I mean, you got all the cruises that go out of Baltimore, like Carnival, Royal Caribbean, taking all their cruises out of there. Well, now they have to reroute everybody to either Roanoke or Philly, different ports that they can sail out of now instead. So, I mean, you change a lot of people's lives and their plans when something like that happens.
You start thinking about, like you were saying, the lives impacted. Does that, maybe do they take a different direction in terms of how they rebuild it?
Yeah.
Do they, maybe have a big hill come over so boats can go under? A whole bunch of minds that are smarter than us will figure out the right thing and get people where they need to be.
And looking at that cargo ship, we were actually in the Bahamas on that cruise, and on our way back, as that cargo ship went, it would have went right past where we were. And then the following day is when that happened. So we were looking. That's what made me get on and look at that cargo ship's route, and it would have went right past where we were, which is
Isn't that so crazy. Weird? Like sometimes, I mean, not to compare tragedies of like things that happen, or like you hear people, unfortunately when 9/11 happened, people calling out sick, like, geez, what a day.
Yeah.
That, I mean, not to get spiritual, but that's where I'm just like, hey, somebody's looking out for you.
Well, you know what? Speaking of that, when we went to the Bahamas, right?
Mm.
And we had my parents along with us. We had Leigh and Jackson. We're kind of doing it as their honeymoon.
Yeah, congratulations to them.
Yeah, for sure. So we get to the Bahamas, and we're supposed to get off at Half Moon Cay and enjoy the day at the beach.
Mm.
Well, the storms were happening. The waters were rough. The captain gets on in the morning and says, we're not able to stop the island. He said it's just too rough, too unsafe. We're going to have to stay on the ship. So, of course, everybody's bummed out.
Yeah.
Well, while this is going on, my mom gets a random message from one of her friends on Facebook that she doesn't really conversate with.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a picture, and she opened the picture up, and here it's had a message, and it said about God is protecting you from something today.
Mm.
And it was so weird that it all happened at the same time, that we didn't get off that boat and go to the island. It makes you think, man, was something going to happen if we would have stopped?
I'll tell you, your guys' trip, I know you said you had some waters are rough. When I went years ago, me and my youngest, my oldest, we had something similar where they're like, hey, water, it's too bad. You can't go. So they gave you an option. You can either go to Disney World, or I think so, but like that wasn't part of the trip. Like you're going to have to pay to get in, do whatever, and do that day, or you could go to Cocoa Beach. So we were like, we'll just do Cocoa Beach. So, do that. Had a great day. By the way, down near the Kennedy Space Center, what is crazy to me the most was there were alligators just walking around, and people were just on their cell phones. Like, I'm like, that's a dinosaur over there. Right. And you're just walking by. Like, it wasn't like growling or whatever they do at anyone, but it was just like people were just like acclimated.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
No big
alligators,
deal.
Or you see them on a golf course. They're like, hey, like, shoot. But we got on. So water, we get back. Everything's safe. Trip was great. We get off. From what we had heard, the trip after us, they were lost for 2 days because the water was so crazy. Now, from what I had heard, they were able, but like Dad was like, I'm lost. I don't know if you ever watch the show Manifest?
Yeah.
At the airplane? Yeah. That's what I was thinking. I was like, or I think recently they've had planes disappear.
Yeah.
And they're like, we don't know where any of these people are. Like, I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah, that's wild for sure.
Yeah, not to get religious on people, but I'll tell you, like, God's always on time.
Yeah,
he really is.
Like, there's a reason for everything.
I think about that. I mean, when I was 8, I had to be saved from the ocean. The tide undertow just pulling me out. Don't think much of it now, but it's like, man, what could have happened to me?
I mean, I tell the story. I don't know how to swim, and I almost drowned. Somebody had to save me.
Yeah.
But it is just things like that. I was a few years ago back at Black Waterfalls.
Mm-hmm.
We were up there, and
man, and what's weird too is I felt like I was coming in. I'm getting closer, and and apparently I wasn't at all. Nah,
it's a scary feeling.
Mm-hmm. Like, yeah.
Even being young, that's a scary. Like, you just don't know what's going to happen.
Oh my gosh, yeah. There's a couple instances where. I mean, that or you see a car accident happen, it's like it just passes you. Like, oh my God.
Timing's everything. It's weird.
So yeah, still got looks like delayed. A couple Orioles still haven't started. I don't believe. Angels up 4-0 on the Marlins.
Marlins start out rough this year, don't they?
This is the worst start for them.
0-6.
Yeah.
0 and looking to be 0-7.
They say I just seen there across the ticker. They said this could be the best Pirates start they've had since 1962.
Yeah, seen that.
Jeez.
Good. I mean, of course, you get the fans all excited. I feel like it does happen every year with them, but one of these years they're going to push through and it's going to be there. So. It's like the Orioles last year.
Yeah.
Nobody early in the preseason expected that. And then as the season went on, they just kept getting more excited.
I mean, lost to the eventual champions and the Rangers.
Yeah. Oh,
so I know my friends had a couple tickets. It was like a 2-day, plane and home, everything, and they just got smoked.
Yeah.
I was like, oh my gosh. Just couldn't get any run support, nothing. Oh. Warning track power there for Kepler.
I think he hit it off the handle. He didn't get a lot of barrel on that ball. Put a good swing on it.
Yeah, Yelich started off good. Willie Adames, he's a good ball player.
So I guess we got NBA playoffs coming up.
They're only about 7-8 games.
Yeah, they only got a few games left.
I'm a Minnesota fan, Timberwolves, so I'll celebrate if we maybe get to the conference finals.
Yeah.
Other than that, grew up. I'm a Garnett guy, but we had to go against Kobe and Shaq. So
of course, I root for Curry and the Warriors. I'm just at this point, you just hope they get in, like they're
fighting for their lives.
Yeah.
It's weird. They went on that they just couldn't lose, and everyone couldn't stand them, and now everyone kind of feels bad for them.
Yeah, I think so too. Well, because we were talking about the attitudes of players and people everybody like. That's Curry. Like I feel like everybody loves Curry. Mm-hmm. You don't have a lot of haters on him like you do some other players in the league.
There are a couple players like him who you can't say he hasn't changed the game in a way.
Yeah,
especially from youth to now. Like he's like, what do you want to do? Like, do you want it from half court?
Yeah.
I feel like you'd want to chase him off the 3-point line. Like, hey, he'll beat us with 2-pointers.
Yeah, make him just go right around you at that point.
I just started listening to JJ Redick has a podcast with LeBron James, and it's really good.
Oh,
like cool. They actually talk about like terminology and everything where like you don't know. It's just like, oh, this is 5-on-5. It's like no, like talk about strategy, and it's a really good listen. If anyone's into like basketball coaching, like I felt like I could have went out and coached a team after listening to the first 20 minutes.
Pumped up about it. Yeah, there's a lot of strategy at that point. Like you said, you make them beat you another way than a 3-pointer, and a lot of coaches have that mentality in their head. And I feel like everybody goes in with a plan like that. But then, you saw that with Caitlin Clark the other night. I know that was LSU's plan.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden she starts
drops a 40-piece.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Hitting them from the logos and stuff. Like you can't defend it. Like they're just you can't do that. It's not realistic.
Yeah. What was it when Oakland playing Kentucky? Was that Golke or what his name was for Oakland?
Yeah.
How do you guard that? He even played well. They had NC State on the ropes.
Yeah. And it's easy. It's easy for a coach, especially in basketball. I'm not going to say easy, but on an inbound, you at least can set up your defense. If you score a bucket and they're throwing an inbound, you can set your defense up.
Yeah.
But on a miss and transition, you don't have the time to think like that. You don't know where everybody's at. You're trying to find your person. That's when it becomes real hard. I feel
exactly. Somebody was actually making the joke, or imagine if Caitlin Clark and Golke had a baby, just 3-pointers.
And I think that's in that Kentucky game. I feel like that's what happened too, because Kentucky wasn't making their baskets like they normally do. So you got all those transitions and all the threes, and it just was a disaster. Yeah. So we don't have any top plays this week. Hoping to get some more submitted
subs,
here. Yeah, like to get those submitted to us. We still have CC Stickles as the top play. We can run that for us just to see what we're looking at. That's in Columbus there. We had the backhanded double play. Into the hole, double played up at second. So she's still the reigning champ there at number 1. So somebody come dethrone her here. Somebody send us something.
I know. Geez, old, new. I don't know. Yeah. At this point, we need competition.
I'm going to have to go digging through some live feeds from Frostburg and digging for some stuff to see what we got.
Any K-cams from Frostburg, or everybody swinging?
I think there wasn't a lot of Ks that day at Frostburg. I tell you what, the wheelhouse Friday night, I've never seen that many strikeouts in one night. I bet we were looking at 30 strikeouts.
You think batters just trying to make something happen? Get on, go behind?
I believe there was some new faces there that night. There was some. I had a couple pitchers that were throwing really good curveballs with that big ball. To make it curve like that's tough. So definitely fun.
That's why I always if you got Rickelman on your team, man, and he's long, so
Yeah.
like straight getting the ball by him alone.
Yeah, that's tough. I'll tell you, I played on his team Friday night, and he took probably 3 or 4 shots off his body though. He had a rough night for getting hit.
Oh, geez, any dingers?
Yeah, there was Marcus hit another one there to add to his total. There was a lot that night that were going over some. Shane Smith, Lance's dad, hit his first one in there. I believe Greg Herring hit his first one in there. We had a lot of first timers hitting them, so it was cool to see. We totaled up those stats for the year. We have the yearly stats, the career stats. I always enjoy looking at that just to see where the numbers are for everybody.
And there's a couple like surprises.
Yeah,
too on there.
Definitely. Yeah, well, speak like the females. When you look through and you're like, man, she did really good. And there's times this year where Chippy has been the top female and almost a top person in there.
Oh yeah.
And you go back to thinking and you're like, man, she had a really good day in there. Like, and I enjoy seeing that. That makes people that much more excited about playing.
Oh, absolutely. And especially because Chippy plays, she plays slow pitch outside too. Yeah. You get that confidence from, hey, Friday night I had some really good cuts. Yeah. Maybe go into a Saturday like Frostburg.
Take it right outside with you for sure. Yeah, career stats though. Corey's career, only one to ever have 500 hits in the wheelhouse. He's going to end his career with that. So, me and Colton, we're getting close to him. We were up in the upper 400s. We just ran out of time. So he'll go down as the only 500 hit person ever in the wheelhouse. Colt had 104 wins pitching. Be the only one close to 100 wins. So
Hall of Famer for sure.
Seeing numbers like that's cool though, because you're looking at baseball like 3,000 hits and you're comparing like where people are at that level. Like it just makes it fun.
Now, in terms of like stats, does conference level have like, hey, you got to be batting pretty much 700? Yeah. Like you got to be every game batting at least 700.
Yeah, so they have those. Yeah, they'll get cut or replaced, or they'll sit the bench if they're not at certain numbers. Jeez. I remember I played for a team called Four Horsemen in Baltimore. It's been about probably 8 or 9 years ago, I guess.
Right.
And early in the season, we would play all these open tournaments at Glen Burnie, and you would have some conference or some big time teams come into these tournaments. Well, I was pitching for them. I was the new pitcher for them. And we were playing these games, and these guys were hitting every single ball like by me or hitting them off my shin guards. It's like, and these guys are like beating us by 20 runs. Why are they doing this? Finally, I'm talking to the guy on second base, and he's like, I'm sorry, man. He said, if we don't hit a certain number, he said, we'll get cut. So we have to do what we have to do. And I get it. Like they needed to stay at that level. So, I mean, it sucks if you're pitching. But...
Oh, yeah, exactly. And good for that guy being like, hey, it's nothing personal.
Yeah, he's straight up with it. And I appreciate that. I would rather the first guy told me that, so I knew that ahead of time.
What was that for? It's pretty much like a job.
Yeah. I mean, they're getting bats given to them. They're having tournaments paid for, so they got to earn their spot. So that's exactly what they do.
Man, that's probably a different type of pressure.
Yeah.
Can you imagine, like, that 700, I don't know if I'm going to make the cut or something like that. It's like, geez.
Constantly thinking about it every weekend, which maybe that's a bad thing. Maybe they got to go in and just be relaxed and just play how they play.
It'd be nice to hear it, like get a conference person on here.
I have a buddy, Zach Ross. He's originally from Pittsburgh, moved out. I think he's in Eastern Maryland now, but we could probably bring him on. They had this weekend. They have their Vegas. I think it's their conference opener in Vegas this weekend. So the Vegas major. He's making the trip out there. So yeah, maybe I'll talk to him. And he's actually runs the page where we all do the betting. Where
FanDuel Top Picks. Yeah, I've seen the name.
He runs that page, so we could probably bring him on. Maybe talk about some bets at the same time.
40. You got 40 minutes, 35, 40 minutes of his time. Yeah.
Real good guy. I'm sure he would probably love to do something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a business owner. Promote his business a little bit while he's on there.
Yeah, push everything. Steel Pony.
Steel Pony wings. Tonight is wing night at the Steel Pony. Might have to hit some wings.
Swing by.
Yeah.
Hey, they're good. Barbecue. Tell me about it.
We'll probably have. I'm hoping next time we have some exciting news from the Steel Pony. Maybe get their logo and put it here on the podcast.
Absolutely.
Get them running with us for a little bit.
We'll have to start doing that, getting like a little thing here, whether it's just like an empty can or something like that, or a cup, Steel Pony, Sky High.
I'll tell you what we'll do for the fans next time. We'll do a live wing tasting and review.
Beautiful.
From the Steel Pony.
We're there. Yeah. Count me in.
Hey, we might even go up to the Steel Pony and do it.
We'll be live in the Steel Pony.
We'll definitely do something cool though.
Yeah, we'll have to do that. We'll do some giveaways, maybe even pop in some gift cards or something like that.
I do. Speaking of the giveaways, I do from our HGH Sports page. We had a thing about a month ago where we were having people share it and get people to follow the page. Mm-hmm. And there was 3 people on there that did it, which was Dalton Dolly, Mike Kleiss, Austin Bergman. So I do have hats for all of them. Nice. But we're going to do a bigger giveaway. I just wanted to extend that time out a little bit for people to get on board with it.
Heck yeah.
So I will get with them and get them some hats, get them some good gear.
Heck yeah, that's
whether
awesome.
It's Proton, HGH,
I just got a shirt.
That's right. We're repping. We're all repping now. So
I do like that bright pink though. That's tough.
Yeah. This is what we're going to wear for COVID next week in Virginia. So we're going to have, or I guess it's in 2 weeks. So we're going to have that down there. Going to wear these for COVID and then the blue ones for men's. So
I tell you, everyone, anywhere I go, everyone's like, man, I love the cotton candy.
Yeah.
Like, everyone loves the color. It
pops out.
Yeah.
You pull into a complex and you see this on the field. You're like, yeah, we know who they are.
I can't, when last time I was in Mojo, I probably just 3 random people was like, hey, how did I get one of your jerseys?
Yeah.
And they had to put me in touch with somebody.
Yeah.
Like, oh, that's sick. And like that, like I think a couple teams had like the Michael Myers stuff, so the order stuff. So I like those and just a couple really good ones.
That's a fun thing about softball tournaments, though, is when you can go and talk to people about that and kind of get on board with stuff like that. It makes the whole weekend fun.
I remember, men's a couple years ago, for first night, you'd sold a Proton. And that first day, somebody was like, oh, I need one.
Yeah, he'd come up to me in the parking lot and bought it up for me in the parking lot. I mean, and at the time, you didn't see a lot of them in person because Proton was just starting to hit that scene. So. And
they had that little, back. It had to backpedal a little bit with back orders. They were trying to catch up to everybody.
They're in that same situation right now. I hate to say it because I rep for them, but I'm hoping that they can get their stuff together. There's bats that were supposed to go out at the beginning of February that still aren't anywhere to be seen. So
is that just because of pure volume around it?
No, I think it all depends who you select to. Of course, most of the bats come from overseas from these companies because they're assembling, putting them together.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of it depends on where you're going to get the shells of your bats and what's going on with their shipping, how they're shipping them over. Heck, maybe they were on that cargo ship. It's hard to say.
Golly.
I mean, you hope
I don't even want to know what was on that cargo ship.
Exactly. So, and those are still sitting in the shipping containers. So you don't know things like that or what's in those. But it's frustrating. I know it's frustrating for the people that buy them because
I think that comes with that any product that you purchase offline. You're like, man, it's taking so long. I ordered this a month ago, but I get it.
Well, it's hard because people bought these and thought they were shipping in February. Softball season starts in March, so you're thinking, man, I'm going to have my bat before the season starts. I'm going to get to use it. Well, then they don't get there, and you're like, now I got to find something to use until it gets there, or cancel my order and find something else.
Yeah, you don't want that. I think they do a good job, though. Hey, like, here's a gift card.
Yeah, they gave everybody $100 to spend freely on whatever they wanted. Yeah. That was cool. Last year they did a $100 coupon off of a bat or off of gear that you could use. So, I mean, they're doing stuff, but hopefully they get it figured out. Yeah. Whether it's a overseas thing or whether it's an in-house thing, we'll see if they can get it together. They got a lot of good people that work for them, good-hearted people.
Absolutely.
So you want to see them be successful at the end of the day. So,
yeah, it'd be nice. There are a couple people like I'd love to talk to, like on here, like somebody maybe you were talking about Louisville bats. How cool would it be to talk to somebody from Louisville Slugger?
Well, it's funny because Zach Ross, the conference guy, he's big into Louisville and big in with their company. So maybe he could
even bring just like a rep on. Like that,
and he does rep for him, but I think he could bring somebody even bigger into that.
That'd be so cool. Where people that make gloves, they have the back glove companies and stuff like that. That'd be so cool. Maybe a rep from Rawlings or somebody like that.
Actually, he's in with Proton, but Lex Ramirez has the Legacy Glove Company that does custom gloves and does really nice gloves. I'm sure
I like that stuff, like relacing and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
Or you see old gloves that are beat up, and they take care of them. Like, damn.
We got our special guest of the week coming down the stairs.
But yeah, if you want to come on, anyone else wants to come on, let us know.
Definitely.
Trying to have fun. You want to say hi to the people, Ryan?
Yeah. How are you? Good.
What were you doing up there? Having snacks? Yeah.
All right. Well, we're going to wrap this week up.
Sorry about the Mets, folks.
Yeah.
Back-to-back rainouts. Maybe the Fan Zone New York probably getting a pretty good deal.
Yeah.
Maybe get some doubleheader tickets.
Yeah, heck yeah.
That'll be happening.
Going to have to do something there. Got 2 to make up now.
In the grandma, you're on that side and he's on that side. But in the orange can, he's on this
side. It's backwards, huh? That's pretty neat.
It's magic.
All right. Well, again, congrats to Corey and Bree there. Yeah. I know he couldn't be with us today, but he's off. He's doing better things right now. So.
Austin and Tiff.
Yeah.
Congratulations to them.
Lay and Jackson on their wedding. I mean, we got a lot of things going on right now.
A lot of things to be thankful for. So thank you. Like, comment, subscribe. We'll tag some people, dig into the comments.
Yeah, for sure.
Post-production.
Dad.
Everyone have a good day.
All right, see ya. Say bye.
Find something that you love, call it passionate. Or find some passion in leaving behind adequate. Your journey starts now, time to make it happen then. You could be great, have it your way. Served up like some room service on a nice plate. The high life is only hours a day away from making a change to the life that you chase. New year, new you, new day. Go prove to yourself you could do anything.